Why do boxing stars make ridiculous amounts of money while UFC fighters don't? Think about it. One fight and a top boxer is walking away with a payday that could fund a small country. Meanwhile, a UFC champ might have to stack fights just to get close. What gives? Stay tuned, because we're diving into straight-up cash that makes boxing the money king of combat sports. First off, boxing's been around forever. We're talking over a century of history. Legends like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Floyd Mayweather didn't just build careers, they built a legacy that turned boxing into a global spectacle. When a big boxing match happens, it's not just a fight, it's an event. Think Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia in 2023. That fight didn't just pull in crowds, it smashed records. 20,000 fans packed the arena. The live gate, a jaw-dropping $22.8 million, ranking among the biggest ever in boxing history. It even outdid WWE's WrestleMania 39. That's the kind of cash flow we're talking about. And it's not just about the money, it's the aura. Boxing fans know how to build hype like no other sport. Feuds, trash talk, and larger-than-life vibe draw fans like moths to a flame. And the build-up to these fights? Legendary. Weeks of promotions, press tours, and face-offs keep fans hooked long before fight night. Compare that to the UFC, where cards can feel rushed and less hyped unless it's a Conor McGregor-level superstar headlining. Here's the thing. Boxing has had over 100 years to build its empire. UFC, it really started to catch fire in 2006. That's a huge head start for boxing. It's had time to become a cultural phenomenon with a massive fan base spanning generations. UFC is growing, no doubt, but it's playing catch-up on a timeline boxing already dominated. In fact, boxing's roots stretch deep into pop culture and history. From Rocky to documentaries about Ali, it's embedded in the global psyche. UFC, while gaining ground with stars like Ronda Rousey and Khabib Nurmagomedov, doesn't yet have the same cultural penetration. Let's talk revenue. Boxing stars rake in insane paydays because they negotiate big. Top boxers get a cut of the pay-per-view ticket sales and even international broadcast rights. Take Tyson Fury, $36 million for one fight. That's more than any UFC fighter has ever earned in disclosed pay. Regarding Tyson Fury's earnings, his bouts have indeed resulted in substantial payouts. For example, his first fight against Alexander Usyk earned him approximately £81 million, with the rematch purse estimated at around £150 million, split 55 to 45 in Usyk's favor. In contrast, the UFC operates differently. Fighters are tied to exclusive contracts under the UFC's single promotion. They can't just shop around for better deals. Plus, their revenue share, not even close to boxing's levels. UFC champs like Israel Adesanya earn well $1.4 million in base salary for one fight, but it's peanuts compared to what boxing legends pocket. Pay-per-view also plays a significant role in the disparity. A major boxing fight like Mayweather versus Pacquiao in 2015 generated $400 million in revenue, with both fighters walking away with hefty cuts. UFC's highest grossing fight, McGregor versus Khabib in 2018, brought in $180 million. A huge number, but still far from boxing's mega fights. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While headline boxers are making millions, the undercard boxers, not so much. The average undercard boxer earns $4,000 to $10,000 per fight. Compare that to the UFC, where fighters on the pay-per-view card, even mid-tier ones, get a slice of the pay-per-view sales. For example, Tony Ferguson and Anthony Pettis earned around $2 million each in pay-per-view earnings for a non-title fight at UFC 229. But let's not sugarcoat it. UFC's undercard fighters don't get gate or pay-per-view money. The lowest paid ones earn around $12,000 for a fight. So while the UFC tries to spread the wealth a bit more evenly, boxing's pay gap is staggering. It's feast or famine. Either you're a headliner raking it in, or you're fighting for scraps. What's also worth noting is longevity. Boxers often have longer careers compared to UFC fighters who take more damage due to the multidisciplinary nature of MMA. This shorter career span in the UFC makes it harder for fighters to accumulate wealth over time. A lot of it boils down to promotion. In boxing, stars like Canelo Alvarez or Gervonta Davis have multiple promoters bidding to host their fights. That competition drives up the purse. In the UFC, there's just Dana White and company. No competition means less bargaining power for fighters. Another reason? Fan loyalty. Boxing fans will pay top dollar to watch their favorite fighters. The sport's global reach means promoters can tap into markets worldwide. UFC is popular, but hasn't quite achieved that same level of global dominance. And sponsorships? Another huge factor. Boxing attracts brands like Hublot and Tecate, while UFC sponsorships are often dominated by the organization's own deals, limiting individual fighter endorsements. Remember Floyd Mayweather's trunks covered in logos? That's direct income. UFC fighters, on the other hand, have restrictions due to exclusive UFC sponsorship deals, like the one with Venom. When it comes to fan engagement, boxing thrives on exclusivity and spectacle. Tickets to a top-tier boxing match can cost thousands, making it a high society affair. UFC, while exciting and action-packed, markets itself as more accessible. The difference in branding also affects revenue. Boxing creates an elite must-see event vibe, while UFC focuses on volume, hosting multiple events a year. Also, consider global reach. Boxing has firmly established fan bases in the US, UK, Mexico, and the Philippines. UFC, while growing, doesn't yet have the same international strongholds. What do you think? Should UFC fighters get paid more? Or does boxing deserve its throne as the king of combat sports cash? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of sports.